this video is about. She went to the bookstore and a billionaire smiled at her. If this story touches your heart, please mention where you are watching from in the comments. Please like the video and share your thoughts in comments. It was a rainy Thursday afternoon when Lily Harrington decided to escape into the warm embrace of her favorite bookstore, the Leafy Nook. Nestled on a quaint cobblestone street in downtown, the bookstore was a sanctuary for those who sought solace in the written word. Its windows glistened with droplets of rain, the kind that blurred the world outside into a watercolor painting of grays and greens. Lily loved the smell of old books, the rustle of pages turning, and the quiet hum of lives being lived through characters that leaped from the pages. She pushed through the heavy wooden door, shaking off her umbrella and stepping into the cozy haven, feeling the familiar comfort wash over her like a warm blanket. "Hey there, Lily," called out Mrs. Thompson, the elderly owner, her white hair pulled back into a neat bun. She was a fixture of the bookstore, her love for literature evident in the twinkle of her eye, and the way she could recommend the perfect book for anyone who walked through the door. "Hi, Mrs. Thompson. How's the world of words treating you today?" Lily responded with a bright smile, her dark curls bouncing as she moved toward the fiction aisle. "Oh, it's a bit slow today, but I always say that a slow day is just an opportunity for a good book." Mrs. Thompson's laughter bubbled like a pot of water on the stove, her spirit infectious. Lily nodded, glancing at the shelves lined with worn spines. She felt an undeniable pull, a sort of gravitational attraction to the words and stories waiting to be discovered. She wandered deeper into the aisles, her fingers grazing over the titles as she searched for something to whisk her away for the afternoon. As she stepped into the back corner of the store, a strange noise caught her attention. It was a soft chuckle, laced with warmth. She turned to find a man leaning casually against the stacks, his attention absorbed by a book in his hand. He was tall, with tousled dark hair and an easy smile that seemed to light up the dimly lit space. His jeans were well fitted, and a soft navy sweater hugged his frame, giving him an air of effortless charm. Lily's heart skipped a beat, something about him sparking an unfamiliar excitement in her chest. He looked up, his slate blue eyes meeting hers, and the smile widened, revealing a set of perfectly straight teeth. "Hey there," he said, his voice smooth and inviting, as if they were old friends meeting after a long separation. "Looking for anything in particular?" "I'm just browsing," Lily replied, her voice a bit shaky. "I like to let the books choose me, He raised an eyebrow, intrigued. "I like that philosophy. A bit like fate, isn't it? Allowing the universe to guide you to the right story." "Exactly," she agreed, feeling a rush of warmth at his unexpected depth. "Sometimes the best stories find you when you least expect it." "I completely agree. I'm Ethan, by the way." He extended a hand and Lily took it, feeling the warmth of his touch radiate through her. The connection was electric, ephemeral, and yet she could feel something deeper stirring within her. "Lily," she replied, her heart racing. "Nice to meet you, Ethan." They lingered just a moment too long, their hands reluctant to part. An undeniable chemistry crackled in the space between them, a tension that felt almost tangible. Lily's cheeks flushed as she cleared her throat, breaking the moment. "So, what are you reading?" Ethan held up the book, tilting it so she could see the cover. "It's a collection of short stories about love and loss, kind of a bittersweet mix but beautifully written." "Sounds perfect for a rainy day," Lily said, her mind racing. It was a topic she loved to discuss, the nuances of storytelling. "Any favorites so far?" "Definitely. There's one story that it caught me off guard. It's about a couple who meet years later after a whirlwind romance in their youth. It's about how life takes them in different directions, but how some connections never truly fade." Lily leaned in, her interest piqued. That sounds like something I'd love. The way life tangles us up sometimes, doesn't it? We get pulled in so many directions. What always fascinates me is how the paths we take shape our stories. Ethan nodded, his gaze intense as he listened. Exactly, and sometimes those paths cross again in the most unexpected ways. There was a weight to his words, an unspoken understanding that resonated with Lily. As they spoke, the world around them faded into a soft blur. The sound of rain pattering against the window became a distant whisper, replaced by the fluid rhythm of their conversation. "I can't help but wonder," Ethan said, his tone shifting to something more playful. "If we were characters in a story right now, what would our next scene be?" Lily grinned, a playful glint in her eyes. "Well, I suppose the next scene would involve us getting coffee and discussing our favorite books. Maybe we'd even throw in a little banter about which character is more compelling." "Ah, a literary debate, I'm in. But just so you know," he leaned closer, lowering his voice as if sharing a secret, "I am very passionate about my choices. You might have a challenge on your hands." "Challenge accepted," she replied, her heart racing with excitement. His playful tone lit a spark, and she found herself wanting to learn more about this intriguing man. "Perfect," Ethan said, straightening up and taking a step back, the playful tension lingering in the air. "Would you like to grab that coffee now? I can promise you the cafe down the street serves the best brew in town." Lily hesitated for a heartbeat, the notion of stepping away from her beloved books sending a pang of regret through her. But something about Ethan's inviting smile urged her to take a leap of faith. "Sure, I'd love to." As they made their way to the door, the rain had eased, leaving a fresh scent hanging in the air. Lily felt a rush of anticipation, the kind that comes with new beginnings. Conversations flowed easily between them as they walked side by side, her heart racing with each shared laugh. "Are you always this charming, or is it just because I'm here?" Ethan winked, and a blush crept up Lily's cheeks. "Maybe it's the rain," she teased back, feeling emboldened by his flirtation. "It brings out the best in people, don't you think?" "That, or it forces us to seek warmth and connection," he replied, his expression thoughtful. "And I think we could all use a little more warmth in our lives." Lily's breath caught at the implication, the weight of his words settling between them. There was a sincerity in his gaze, an unspoken promise of something more. As they entered the cafe, the aroma of freshly brewed coffee enveloped them, wrapping them in comfort. "2 coffees, please," Ethan ordered. And as they settled into a cozy corner, the conversation flowed effortlessly. They explored their favorite authors, shared embarrassing bookish moments, and laughed at life's little quirks that made them who they were. In that little cafe, as the rain continued to patter softly against the windows, Lily felt more alive than she had in a long time. For the first time in ages, she felt the weight of her past lifting, replaced by the thrill of an unexpected connection. And as she exchanged glances with Ethan, she couldn't shake the feeling that this might just be the start of something extraordinary. Little did she know, behind those blue eyes was a man whose past intertwined with hers in ways she was yet to discover. In that moment, all that mattered was the laughter they shared, the stories yet to be written, and the spark that ignited in that quaint cafe on a rainy Thursday afternoon. As the rain drizzled outside, Ethan leaned back in his chair, a playful twinkle dancing in his eyes. The cafe was warm, filled with the comforting sounds of clinking cups and soft chatter. The steam from their coffees wove into the air, curling around them like an intimate embrace. "Okay, Lily, tell me your all-time favorite book," he prompted, leaning forward as if expecting her to unveil a secret. Lily took a sip of her cappuccino, the rich foam tickling her upper lip. "That's a tough one, but if I had to choose, I'd say Pride and Prejudice *. There's just something about Elizabeth Bennet's wit and strength that resonates with me. Plus, the tension between her and Mr. Darcy, it's just electrifying. Ethan raised his eyebrows, impressed. A classic choice. I think I might have to reread it now. Though I must say, I've always been more of an asterisk Great Gatsby fan myself. The extravagance, the idealism, it's also beautifully tragic. Tragic, but there's a sense of yearning in Gatsby that's hard to ignore. It's like his dreams are just out of reach. Exactly. That's what makes it so compelling, Ethan replied, leaning in a little closer, his voice low. But let's be honest, it also has some of the most romantic lines in literature. You can't deny the chemistry between Gatsby and Daisy. A smile crept onto Lily's face, feeling the warmth of their conversation wrapping around her like a familiar blanket. Okay, I give you that. But can you top the tension in asterisk Pride and Prejudice? I mean, that buildup is just intense. I think I can, Ethan challenged, a playful glint in his eye. What about Wuthering Heights? The passion, the drama, Heathcliff and Catherine. Now that's some serious chemistry. Lily laughed, shaking her head. All right, you might have a point there, but you have to admit that love is also toxic. Love can be messy, he said, his tone shifting slightly, as if he was delving deeper into an unspoken truth. Sometimes the most intense connections are the ones that can hurt us the most. His words lingered in the air, heavy with unspoken meaning. Lily's heart skipped at the depth of his insight. There was a pulse of awareness between them, a current she could almost feel. That's true, she said softly, her gaze meeting his. But we still chase after that connection, don't we? The thrill of it all, the hope of finding something extraordinary. Ethan's expression softened, his blue eyes searching hers. Absolutely. It's what makes us human, isn't it? The ability to feel, to dream, to connect. A comfortable silence enveloped them for a moment, both lost in thought, contemplating the connection they were forging. Lily couldn't shake the feeling that her life had taken an unexpected turn today, steering her right into the path of this enigmatic man. I have to ask, Ethan said, breaking the silence. What do you do when you're not losing yourself in books? Lily leaned back, considering the question. Well, I work as a graphic designer at a small firm. I love creating visual stories, bringing ideas to life. It feels like a different kind of storytelling. Sounds like a dream job, Ethan remarked, a hint of admiration in his voice. And do you enjoy it? I do, she replied, her eyes lighting up as she spoke about her passion. But sometimes I wish I could dive deeper into my art, you know. There's something about creating that feels so fulfilling. Ethan nodded, a thoughtful expression on his face. I understand that. There's something magic about bringing something into the world that didn't exist before. I think we all want to leave our mark in some way. What about you? What do you do when you're not charming strangers in bookstores? Lily teased, feeling the chemistry between them simmering just below the surface. Ethan chuckled, a hint of mischief gleaming in his eyes. Ah, you caught me. I run a tech company. It's not as glamorous as it sounds, but I like the challenge. It keeps me on my toes. Interesting. Lily leaned in, intrigued. Do you enjoy it? The corporate world can be pretty cutthroat. Sometimes, he shrugged, a flicker of something darker passing through his gaze. But I try to keep it balanced. I believe in creating a culture that encourages innovation and creativity. I want my team to feel inspired. You have a good heart, Ethan. His smile faltered for a moment, replaced by a seriousness that tugged at Lily's heart. Thank you, Lily. That means a lot. What about you? What does the good heart in you desire? He asked, his voice soft and earnest. Lily hesitated, the question catching her off guard. What did she desire? The answer felt elusive, like a fleeting thought just out of reach. I guess I want to create beauty in the world. I want to inspire others just like the books I love have inspired me. And maybe I want to find my own story, whatever that may be. Ethan's gaze lingered on her, a deep understanding reflected in those striking blue eyes. I think you're already on that path. Sometimes it's about the journey rather than the destination. His words settled over her, a warmth blossoming in her chest. They exchanged smiles, a silent acknowledgement of their shared understanding. But then, the weight of the moment shifted, and an unexpected tension drew them closer. "Do you believe in fate, Lily?" Ethan suddenly asked, his voice low and inviting. "I don't know," she admitted, her heart racing. "I like the idea of it, but I also think we create our own paths. What if I told you that today feels like fate?" He challenged, a playful spark igniting in his eyes. "Meeting like this in a bookstore on a rainy day, it feels like the beginning of a story waiting to be written." Lily's breath caught in her throat, the intensity of his words sending a shiver down her spine. The air between them thickened, charged with possibilities that felt both thrilling and terrifying. "You really think so?" "I do," he replied, leaning closer, their faces inches apart. "And I think we owe it to ourselves to explore where this story might lead, don't you?" Her heart raced, a mix of excitement and vulnerability flooding through her. The moment felt suspended in time, the outside world fading away as she focused solely on Ethan and the magnetic pull that drew them together. "Okay," she whispered, the words slipping out before she could overthink it. "Let's see where this story goes." Ethan's smile widened, a glimmer of triumph shining in his eyes. "Then let's make a pact. Every time it rains, we meet here to share stories about books, life, ourselves, and see how this unfolds." "I like that idea," she replied, her heart fluttering at the thought of new beginnings. "Great," he said, a playful grin lighting up his face. "And I promise to bring my best arguments for our literary debates." As they laughed, the rain resumed its gentle patter outside, a soft symphony that accompanied the rhythm of their hearts. In that moment, as they exchanged glances filled with a mixture of excitement and curiosity, Lily knew this was the beginning of a captivating chapter in her life, one that promised growth, connection, and perhaps a little bit of magic along the way. Little did they both know, as the story of Lily and Ethan unfurled, it would lead them down paths neither had expected, challenging their beliefs about love, loss, and the very threads that intertwined their destinies. But for now, they were simply two souls weaving their way into each other's lives, one rainy day at a time. The rain had lightened to a gentle drizzle as Lily and Ethan left the cafe, a delicate mist weaving its way through the cobblestone streets, creating a dreamy atmosphere. The world seemed wrapped in a soft veil, and the sounds of the bustling city became a distant murmur. With every step, Lily felt lighter, as if the weight of her past was slowly lifting, replaced by a sense of hope and excitement. "Shall we take the scenic route back to the bookstore?" Ethan suggested, his voice laced with mischief. "There's a little park nearby that's quite lovely, even in this weather." Lily hesitated, glancing at the menacing gray clouds overhead, but the twinkle in Ethan's eye pulled her in. "Why not? I could use a bit of adventure," she replied, a smile tugging at her lips. As they walked, the conversation flowed effortlessly. They dove into deeper territories, discussing the intricacies of their lives, their dreams, and the stories that shaped them. "I grew up in a small town," Lily said, her voice softening as she opened up. "Books were my escape. I didn't have much in terms of experience, but stories took me to places I could only dream of." Ethan's gaze shifted toward her, genuine interest etched across his features. "What was it about books that captured you?" "It was the possibility," she replied, her eyes lighting up with passion. "The idea that you could live 1,000 lives, love fiercely, and even face terrible heartbreak without any real consequences. It's fascinating." He nodded, encouraging her to continue. "And what about now? Do you still feel that sense of escape?" "Sometimes," Lily admitted, her smile faltering for a moment. "But I think it's easy to forget that feeling when you get caught up in the day-to-day grind. It's something I'm trying to rekindle, though. I've been trying to sketch and paint again." "I'd love to see your work," Ethan said, his voice sincere. "Art has a way of revealing our innermost selves, doesn't it? Like literature, but in a different language." Lily's heart swelled at his encouragement. "Thank you. I used to have this dream of having an exhibit one day, but I've kept it tucked away, scared it might not live up to my expectations." "Expectations can be heavy," he agreed, a shadow crossing his face. "Believe me, I know, but wouldn't it be worse to never try, to let fear dictate your passions?" "You're right," she conceded, feeling the weight of his words. "I guess I've just been afraid of putting myself out there." "Then let's promise to push each other," he suggested, a playful smirk forming. "You'll work on your art and I'll work on," he trailed off thoughtfully. "Well, maybe I'll write a book, or at least try to." Lily laughed at the thought. "I'd love to see that. A billionaire writing a romance novel. I can already picture the headlines." "Just wait until you read my first draft," he joked, his eyes sparkling. "It'll be full of logical plots and impossible character arcs. A true masterpiece." They shared a laugh, the connection between them deepening with every shared moment. As they turned into the park, the trees swayed gently in the breeze, their leaves whispering secrets above. Lily felt a sense of serenity wash over her, a sharp contrast to the chaotic thoughts that often occupied her mind. "Look at that," Ethan said, gesturing toward a small pond in the center of the park. "It's beautiful, isn't it?" Lily nodded, captivated by the sight. The surface of the water shimmered like glass, reflecting the soft hues of the sky. "It really is," she murmured, stepping closer. "Shall we sit?" he offered, motioning to a nearby bench beneath a large oak tree. It provided a perfect shelter from the drizzle. As they settled onto the bench, a brief silence enveloped them, filled only by the rhythmic patter of raindrops against the leaves. Lily stole glances at Ethan, noticing the way the droplets glistened on his tousled hair and the curve of his jaw as he looked out over the pond. The air was thick with unspoken words, a tension that felt almost electric. "Do you believe in serendipity?" Ethan asked suddenly, breaking the silence. "I think so," she replied, her gaze fixed on the water. "I believe that some moments are meant to happen, like this one right now. But I also think that it's up to us to recognize and embrace them." "Wise words, Lily Harrington," he said, his tone playful yet sincere. "So do you think this is serendipity then, us meeting like this?" "Maybe," she said, her heart pounding in her chest. "But the real question is, what will we do with it?" Ethan turned to her, a seriousness overtaking his playful demeanor. "I want to explore it wherever it might lead, but I also want to be honest with you, Lily." Her breath caught, the weight of his words hanging in the air. "Honest. I've been in a world where connections can get muddled with expectations and perceptions," he said, his voice low, almost vulnerable. "I don't want that with you. I want to know you, really know you." Lily's heart raced, her pulse quickening with both excitement and trepidation. "I want that too," she admitted, the vulnerability in her voice palpable. "But it's a little scary, isn't it, being open with someone new?" "Terrifying," he agreed. "But I think that's where the magic happens, when we let our guards down." She met his gaze, a mixture of fear and exhilaration swirling within her. "Okay then," she said, her voice steady. "Let's promise to be honest with each other. No games." "Deal," he replied, holding out his hand. Lily placed her palm in his, and the warmth of his touch sent a thrill racing through her. "So, what do we start with? How about we trade secrets?" he suggested, a grin breaking through the tension. "I'll start. My favorite dessert is chocolate lava cake." Nothing scandalous there, she teased, a comfortable lightness returning to their conversation. Okay, my turn. I've read Pride and Prejudice more times than I can count, and I still cry at the ending. Ethan laughed, appreciation dancing in his eyes. That's not a secret, that's a badge of honor. It's such a powerful story. Okay, my turn again. I once accidentally sent a text meant for my sister to my boss, and it was about a date I had. Lily burst into laughter, picturing the scenario. What did you say? I had to come up with an elaborate excuse about how I was referring to an inspirational movie, and it just spiraled from there, he recounted, shaking his head, amusement spilling from his lips. I can't believe that. You're lucky your boss has a good sense of humor, she said, wiping a tear of mirth from her eye. True. Okay, your turn again, he prompted, leaning closer, anticipation sparkling in his gaze. Lily smiled, feeling emboldened by his openness. All right. I once performed a monologue from Romeo and Juliet at a talent show when I was in high school, and I forgot all my lines halfway through. Ethan chuckled, his laughter warm and inviting. What did you do? I improvised, she admitted, her cheeks flushing at the memory. It was a disaster, but I got through it. I think I ended up creating my own version of the story. Sounds like you turned a mistake into something memorable, Ethan said, admiration lacing his words. That's talent right there. Or sheer desperation, she retorted playfully, her heart soaring at the encouragement. The comfortable banter continued, weaving a tapestry of shared moments, laughter, and connections that felt so real, so vibrant. As the drizzle began to fall a little more heavily, Lily leaned closer to Ethan, their shoulders brushing together. The warmth of his presence eased her nerves, making it easier to explore the uncharted territories of their growing connection. I have a confession, she said, her voice barely above a whisper. Tell me, he urged, his gaze intense and focused. I was terrified to come to the bookstore today. I almost didn't come at all. Why? He asked, genuinely intrigued. I don't know, she admitted, her gaze dropping to their intertwined hands. I guess I've been feeling lost lately, like I'm stuck in a rut and I didn't know if I was ready for something new. But then I saw you. Ethan smirked, his expression teasing. Ah, so I'm a catalyst for change now. Maybe you are, she mused, her heart pounding at the thought. Or maybe it was just fate, like you said. He leaned closer, his voice dropping to a soft murmur. I'm glad you came, no matter the reason, I think. They were both caught in the perfect storm of serendipity. Lily met his gaze, her breath hitching slightly as a mix of excitement and vulnerability washed over her. The air around them felt charged, as if the universe itself had conspired to bring them together in that very moment, on that rainy afternoon, beneath the shelter of the oak tree. But tell me something else, Ethan continued, his tone shifting to something more serious. What were you really afraid of? Was it just the bookstore or something deeper? She took a moment, grappling with the vulnerability of the question. The truth was she had been wrestling with the weight of her own expectations, the anxiety of where her life was headed. I think I've been afraid of opening up, she admitted slowly, her voice barely above a whisper. I've built up these walls to protect myself. It's easy to hide behind my art, my work, but when it comes to connecting with people, Ethan's expression softened as he leaned in closer, his eyes unwavering. It's okay to be afraid, Lily. It's part of being human, especially when you've been hurt before. His words resonated deeply within her, and she felt the weight of her own past hover in the air between them. A past filled with missed opportunities, heartbreak, and the longing for genuine connection. I've been so cautious, she confessed, her heart racing at the honesty. I've built this safety net because I was terrified of getting hurt again. But I know that I want to take that risk. I want to be brave. Ethan's gaze held hers, a silent understanding blossoming between them. Bravery doesn't mean the absence of fear. It means acknowledging it and moving forward anyway. Lily shifted slightly, feeling the warmth radiating from him, the sincerity in his eyes igniting something within her, a desire to break free from the confines of her own limitations. "I want to move forward," she said, her voice stronger now. "With my art, with connections, and with whatever this is between us." A smile spread across Ethan's face, illuminating the intensity of the moment. "Then let's promise to do this together. No holding back." "Yes, let's," she replied, feeling a wave of exhilaration wash over her. She took a deep breath, absorbing the significance of their pact, a commitment to explore the unknown together, to embrace the uncertainty that life often presented. As they leaned back against the bench, the gentle rhythm of the rain became a soothing backdrop to their conversation. The tranquility of the park enveloped them, creating a bubble where their budding connection felt both safe and exhilarating. "Let's talk about art then," Ethan said, breaking the comfortable silence. "What do you love to create most? What draws you in?" Lily felt a rush of excitement at the change in topic. "I love capturing moments, those fleeting instances of beauty that often go unnoticed. Whether it's a street scene, a quiet moment between friends, or the way sunlight filters through leaves. I want to evoke feelings, create a sense of connection." "Sounds like you're painting stories," he remarked, genuine admiration in his voice. "Stories that resonate with the viewer." "Exactly," she said, her eyes sparkling with enthusiasm. "And I think that's where my passion intersects with my fears. I want my work to matter, to touch someone in a way that maybe words can't." "Your art already does matter," he replied, his voice low and sincere. "Even if it's just to you, that's the first step." The weight of his affirmation wrapped around her like a warm embrace, bolstering her confidence. "Thank you, Ethan. That means a lot. Now let's see if you can inspire me," he said playfully, a smirk dancing on his lips. "I want to hear what you envision for your first exhibit." Lily's heart raced at the thought. "You really want to know?" "Absolutely," he replied, leaning forward with rapt attention. "I want to know your dreams." Her breath caught slightly, the openness of the moment making her feel both vulnerable and excited. "Okay, well, I imagine a space filled with my pieces, each narrating a different story. I envision an immersive experience, maybe having soundscapes or poetry woven into the presentation. I want people to not only see but feel what I've created." Ethan nodded, captivated. "That sounds incredible. You have such a vivid imagination. It would be like inviting them into your world." "Yes, exactly," she said, her enthusiasm bubbling over. "And I want to create a space where people can connect, share their own stories, reflect on their experiences. I want it to be a safe haven for creativity." "That's beautiful," Ethan said, his voice filled with warmth. "And I genuinely believe you can make that happen. You just have to take that leap of faith." Lily smiled, feeling a swell of hope. "With you by my side, I think I can." "Then I'll be your biggest cheerleader," he promised, his eyes sparkling with sincerity. "And I'll be there at your opening night, front row, clapping the hardest." Their laughter echoed softly around them, the playful spirit of the moment infusing the air with joy. But as the laughter subsided, Lily could feel a shift, a growing tension that pulled them closer together. "What about you?" she asked, breaking the brief silence. "What do you dream of?" Ethan's expression turned contemplative, and for a moment she saw the layers of complexity beneath his charming facade. "I dream of creating a legacy," he admitted, his voice low. "Something that goes beyond just running a successful company. I want to inspire others to innovate, to create, to chase after their passions." Lily sensed the weight of his words. They felt heavy with a mix of ambition and vulnerability. "That's a noble dream, but tell me, what's holding you back?" "Honestly," he said, his voice dropping an octave. The expectations that come with my position. People see the title, the wealth, and they think that it defines who I am. Sometimes I feel suffocated by it all. She reached for his hand, intertwining their fingers, feeling a rush of empathy. You're more than your title, Ethan. You have passion, creativity, and kindness. Those are the things that define you. He looked down at their hands, then back at her, the intensity in his gaze deepening. Thank you, Lily. I needed to hear that. Any time, she said softly, her heart racing at the connection that bloomed between them. As they sat in comfortable silence, the rain began to ease again, the gentle patter on the leaves creating a rhythmic lullaby around them. Lily found herself leaning closer to Ethan, their shoulders brushing as they shared warmth beneath the tree. Do you ever feel like you're living in a story? He asked suddenly, breaking the silence once more. All the time, she replied, her voice barely above a whisper. I feel like I'm at the crossroads of something transformative, and yet, she trailed off, unsure of how to articulate the swirling emotions within her. Ethan turned to face her fully, his expression earnest. And yet, there's this fear of what comes next. I feel like I'm standing at the edge of a cliff, ready to jump but terrified of the fall. Sometimes the fall is what leads us to discover who we truly are, he said, his voice steady and reassuring. It's in those moments that we find our strength. His words resonated deeply, igniting a fire within her. You're right. I want to leap to embrace whatever comes next, but I want someone to leap with. Ethan's gaze locked onto hers, a warmth spreading between them that felt undeniable. Then let's make that leap together, he said softly, the sincerity of his words washing over her like a warm embrace. 1,000 unsaid emotions swirled in the air, an invisible thread connecting their hearts. Together, she echoed, a smile breaking through her uncertainty. The moment felt suspended in time, every heartbeat echoing the uncharted possibilities that lay ahead. In that park, beneath the gentle drizzle, they had forged a connection that felt both exhilarating and terrifying, a promise to explore the unknown, to face their fears, and to embrace the beauty of what could be. As the rain began to fade into a light mist, Lily felt lighter, free from the burdens of her past. With Ethan by her side, the future suddenly felt vibrant and full of potential, a new chapter waiting to be written, filled with adventures, laughter, and perhaps a love story that was just beginning to unfold. Let's go back to the leafy nook, Ethan suggested, breaking the comfortable silence. I think we still have a few more chapters to explore. Lead the way, Lily said, her heart soaring at the thought of their journey together. With their fingers intertwined, they walked back through the park, laughter mingling with the soft patter of rain, ready to embrace whatever story awaited them next.